right, night one of WrestleMania out of the way. I didn't get to live stream it. I was gonna do a stream with some friends, but that got a little bit chaotic, so I decided to leave and I just watched the thing on my own. Don't ask me how I got to see it because I'm not paying for ESPN Plus. So I missed the first hour of this, and I will start off this little rant. Spoilers ahead, and it is gonna just be a rant. At time of recording, it is 8:57. And I remember the days as a young Dysek that I would watch WrestleMania starting at 7 o'clock, and that shit would go late. It would go like 10, 10:30. And, it felt special for that. It felt like, okay, long main event, Sunday night, tomorrow's school. I get to go to school and talk about WrestleMania with my friends. Now as an adult, I see two nights, and it's 8:57, and the show's over. So apparently I missed the first hour of the show, but I will run down. I had predictions. I didn't say them, I don't think, publicly. So I was right about most of them. I was wrong about a few. For example, the Usos and LA Knight defeated ISHO Speed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. I don't really care about the match, so I don't know what to say about it. I thought the build was weak, like most things on the card here. But I was expecting ISHO Speed to win the match, since he's a celebrity and all, and it's Logan Paul and all that. I was wrong. All right, cool. Then you had the women's tag team match. The only thing of note there was that Paige returned, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, I missed it. I had to see it on social media. But Paige is back. I guess she's back in WWE now. So all right. And she won the tag team titles with Brie Bella while Nikki Bella is injured, which is weird. But hey, you know what? Do what you got to do, I guess, to make that title relevant. And then you had Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee, and I missed that one as well. I wasn't expecting Becky Lynch to win, and I missed the match, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. But I wasn't expecting Becky Lynch to win. I thought AJ was going to take that one. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. I will be watching some of these matches again, and or rather for the first time because I missed them. But Fatu beat McIntyre, which wasn't a surprise at all. And I'm sure the matches are going to be pretty decent. I'll have to check it out. That's all I could say about that. Then we got to Gunther versus Seth Rollins, which has had such a weird build for the last couple weeks. And I predicted that regardless of the build and how you felt about it, they were still going to put on a decent match. It's two pretty reliable guys, and there was talk between myself and my podcast buddies about Seth Rollins getting in there while he was still injured, and there was reports saying that he was only 80 something percent cleared for the shoulder, but he still went in there, and this is the only match I came in the middle of this match, and Seth Rollins put on a good match, and as I predicted, wow, who would have guessed Gunther wins because he needs momentum, so Gunther was going to win, and they're still going to put on a good match regardless of the build. Braun Breaker returned to interfere, so I guess he's recovered from his hernia, and they're going to put up a program between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. I think that was just the best of a bad situation, and even so, it was just kind of weird. But I digress. I let it slide for the most part. I'm not super overly critical of pro wrestling, but at the same time, if it's really bad, it's really bad. You got to call it out. But then we had, let's see, that's like 4 matches. 5th match was like, we had Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan came out to her really bizarre and weird Trouble song, which I can relate to Trouble. Call me up, Liv. But at the same time, the song was so fucking cringe. She came out to it. I guess it'd be good for an entrance song. That's all cool. And she beat Stephanie Vaquer, even though it was like a 3-on-1 situation with Roxanne and Raquel getting in to interfere. But good for Liv. She won her world title at WrestleMania. All right, that's good. I wasn't expecting, Shakespeare out of that. I just thought, hey, you know what? There's going to be a good match between them. And you get 2 hot ladies slugging it out in the ring. I can't be mad. Where was another thing? They had the Hall of Famers come out. I was pleasantly surprised to see that AJ Styles was headlining the Hall of Fame. And holy shit, does Stephanie McMahon have huge titties. I will say that. John Cena came out in a suit. to announce the attendance score, or attendance record rather. Bianca Belair came out, and the minute Bianca Belair came out and she wasn't skipping down to the ring, I was like, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. That's why she's been off TV this whole time. She's pregnant. And lo and behold, she opens up the thing and she's like, I'm pregnant, everybody. And they made it so, it was so awkward because it made it seem like John Cena was the father. So John Cena is like, thank you for sharing this with the WWE family as he announces the attendance record. Bear in mind, with the ticket sales being how they were for the past couple weeks, I saw a couple empty chairs out there. Not a whole bunch. They wouldn't show you a whole bunch in a group, but there were some empty chairs, empty seats, and I'm not surprised at all that they did not show any empty spots. They kept it pretty well contained to show you that it was a full house. But it still feels like it's a smaller WrestleMania than usual. The grandiose like WrestleMania-ness that of what WrestleMania used to be just feels like it's gone now. I mean, you take away the one night spectacle and you take away the grandiose of it. You know, you take away the spectacle, it just feels like another 2-night main event or 2-night show. It doesn't feel as special as it used to be. I don't know if it's just because I'm reminiscing on nostalgia or if it's because of the booking or whatever. But we'll get to the main event because I'll explain my ideas on the main event for that particular reason. But Bianca Belair is pregnant. Cena announces attendance score. Bianca Belair literally got pregnant so that they could bump up the attendance record. They could be like, hey, we got another person who showed up to WrestleMania. Bianca had to get pregnant in order for them to gloat about it. I want to say there was another match. I can't remember because we had Jacob Fatu, AJ, and Becky, the tag team, women's tag team, the trios match, Seth and Gunther, Cody and Randy, which is the main event, and Stephanie McCarron and Liv. Okay, so on to the main event then, as I can't remember if there was a match in between there. But on to the main event. These Cody Rhodes main events are getting more and more bizarre over the years. I mean, WrestleMania 40, don't get me wrong, was cathartic. It was euphoric. It was a great main event, one of the best main events in WrestleMania history, in my opinion. But this just felt weird. The pacing was weird. And on top of that, some of the decisions that were made were not consistent at all. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that they've pretty much assassinated the character of Randy Orton. And with the stipulation of if Randy Orton loses, Pat McAfee is forced to leave the professional wrestling business forever. I'm like thinking, okay, well, that's an obvious. They're not going to let Randy lose then because they don't want to get rid of Pat McAfee. So Randy's going to take the title, and then we're going to do a repeat of what we did last year. It just seems like that's what they're going to do. Now, when it comes to WrestleMania and the exaggeration of spectacle, having these like 30-minute, 40-minute matches, I like that. I like that about this main event, was that it went on a long time. It had a story to tell, and it felt like you were on the edge of your seat biting your nails. And for the most of the match, it felt like that. You had Pat McAfee start the match off by attacking Cody Rhodes and making it seem like, okay, this is going to be a 2-on-1 situation. Jelly Roll comes out, evens the odds, and squashes Pat through the announce table. But with the rumors of Randy Orton having a back injury sort of plaguing the match, it was like, well, is Randy going to be able to hold the title? Is he going to be able to even compete in this match this late in the game? Assuming this show isn't cursed. Cursed by Danhausen, that is. And then, good thing I didn't get to see his dumbass. The match was mostly focused on Cody beating down Randy Orton. Cody showing a more heel side of himself as he beat down Randy Orton. Obviously for the last couple weeks, we've had Randy Orton be cheered and Cody being booed, while it's supposed to be reversed. Cody's the face, Randy's the heel, but people are cheering for Randy, people are booing Cody. And in this scenario, they were doing the same thing where Cody was being booed because he was beating down Randy Orton like Cody was the heel and Randy was the face. But Randy kept coming back and kept answering to all of Cody's beatdowns, all of his responses, basically. And so what it came down to was, is Cody Rhodes going to be able to pull the trigger on Randy Orton? Is he going to be able to beat his friend? Or is he just going to chicken shit and lose to the Viper? And so Randy gets poked in the eye by Cody. Cody pokes him in the eye straight up, an illegal move. And because he's blinded, he accidentally RKO's Charles Robinson, the referee. And then it's like, okay, the referee's knocked out. What happens now? Anything can happen now because in main events like this, when the referee gets knocked out, somebody's coming down to the ring. In this moment, Cody Rhodes does a low blow. Randy's about to do a low blow to Cody. Cody catches it, and he delivers a low blow back. And I thought, this is going to be the moment where Cody's going to turn heel. And he's going to sell his soul to The Rock. How naive of me. The Rock's not showing up. Of course not. I would even take him selling his soul to Pat McAfee, if that made any sense. But instead, they played it as Cody was doing what he had to do to survive. In order to win the match, it was retaliation for all the horrible things that Randy had done to him before. To me, it just makes Cody look like a dick. It makes him look like even more of a heel, factored in with all the booing and all the people not getting along with Cody in the last couple weeks and more cheering for Randy. It felt like this was a perfect time to turn Cody heel. How naive of me. I knew they weren't going to have the fucking balls to do it, and they didn't. So Pat McAfee comes down to the ring in a referee shirt. He's got the little neck brace on, and he's about to count 1, 2. Randy kicks out, or Cody kicks out, I think. I can't remember who had it. Cody went for the Cody cutter off the top rope, and Randy caught him with an RKO, which was pretty cool. But that's when Pat McAfee comes down. Cody kicks out. And then Randy just RKOs Pat McAfee because he's angry. At this point, I started to realize, okay, we've assassinated the character of Randy Orton. We wanted 09 Orton so bad that we were willing to settle for a dumb, mediocre, watered-down version of the character. One who had a hurt boo-boo back, so Cody Rhodes would beat his ass all over the ring, and then all of a sudden he gets angry at Pat McAfee. He does realize that he RKOs Pat McAfee out of anger, and now Pat McAfee is not going to be able to save the industry. I don't get that. I just feel like they've made Randy Orton a fucking meathead dumbass. You know, 09 Orton. People talk about 09 Orton this, 09 Orton that. You know, what made 09 Orton so good was that he knew what he was doing. He wasn't just an evil snake psychopath going after everybody in his path. He was calculating. He did it because he was smart. Randy Orton had a chip on his shoulder, and he attacked precise points to piss off his opponents. He wasn't just some deranged psychopath. He went after people because he knew what made them tick, and he could tick them in the right spot. It happened with Triple H. It happens with Batista. If you go back to 09 Orton, what he does with John Cena, he tries to meticulously pick apart his opponents. This Randy Orton can't even get it up. He's got a hurt boo-boo back. Cody beats his ass, and then he gets angry and RKO's the wrong dude. They've assassinated the character of Randy Orton. They tried to bring back 09 Orton and gave us 2026 Orton, which was a dementia-ridden viper. Am I the only one who's noticing this? Because at the end of the match, Cody Rhodes, after he RKOs Pat McAfee, right? Cody Rhodes hits Randy with the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody wins. Cody doesn't turn heel. There's no final boss. Pat McAfee is assumed to be gone. If they want him back, they'll bring him back probably and erase kayfabe or erase whatever the record thing is. And then at the end of the match, what does Randy do? Randy comes up behind Cody, steals the belt out of his hand, and hits Cody over the head with the belt. And then Randy goes into the corner, and he does the punt. He brings back the punt. Yay, everybody! 09 Orton is back. He brought back the punt. Why didn't he use the punt during the match to win the belt? Why? Why do it after the match is over? It's not like you're going to get another title shot after this. It's like, why? Are we just sending Cody off to shoot another movie? Is he going to show up on SmackDown and be completely fine with a little piece of tape on his head? At that point, the punt means nothing, if that's the case. But why not just use the punt in the match to win the title? If that's what was going to end up happening anyway. So, to me, the match itself was decent. It was good. It felt like a WrestleMania match, and I was fucking with it. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, what's going to happen? Is Cody going to turn heel like we all want? No, he's not going to turn heel. Randy's not even going to make sense. Randy's going to be turning into a dumb, brainless viper a predator. And look, I get it. As somebody who would, for a while trained to be a pro wrestler, but has since not gone back to train. If I were in the pro wrestling business and I was a wrestler on SmackDown on the WWE roster, I would not get close to Randy Orton simply for the danger factor of being anywhere in a arm's length of that man. He's dangerous. I would not get close to Randy Orton. However, just because the man is dangerous does not mean that he should be stupid. Because this main event made Randy Orton stupid. Absolutely. So, my final thoughts on WrestleMania Night 1. I missed half of it, so it doesn't seem like there was much to talk about. And personally, it just feels like it's another pay-per-view. It doesn't feel like it's special anymore. It doesn't feel like it's WrestleMania anymore. It just feels like another fucking another big show. I couldn't tell this apart from Clash in Paris or something, and that's sad. This is supposed to be WrestleMania. And next year, it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Lord help us. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in another video very soon.